Hi guys, the last section in this chapter is solving two-step inequalities. And just like the rest of the chapter, this is really similar to solving two-step equations. You just have to remember the one special rule about inequalities, and that is whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, you flip the sign. So let's take a look at number 1. It says solve 5x minus 4 is greater than 11, graph the solution. All right, well, if I want to get x by itself, I first need to move this 4 over. So it says minus 4, I'm going to do plus 4. And that gives me 5x is greater than 15. And now I need to get x by itself, so I need to divide away the 5. Since I'm dividing by a positive 5, I don't have to change the sign. So my answer is x is greater than 15. And then if I go ahead and put that on a number line, you don't need this many numbers, but I'm just being thorough. So we'll have an open circle, right? And then it's greater than, so it's going to go this way. Okay, so that should be your answer. Remember, in order to get credit, you need to put the answer, which is right here, and the graph, which is right here. All right, so let's take a look at another example. Solve b over negative 3 plus 4 is less than 13. Okay, I'm just going to move this down here. All right, so let's see. The first thing I need to do in order to get b by itself is move the 4 over. It says plus 4. I'm going to do minus 4. And I get b over negative 3 is less than 9. Okay, I have one last step to solve this. I need to get b by itself. I see that it's being divided by negative 3. Well, the opposite of division is multiplication. So I need to multiply both sides by negative 3. That's going to get rid of this, and that gives me a b on the left, a negative 27 on the right. Now, we need to figure out if this fits our rule. If we multiply or divide by a negative, we flip the sign. Well, we multiplied by a negative 3, so yeah, we're going to flip the sign. So my answer is b is greater than negative 27. Now I'm going to go ahead and graph it over here. It gets an open circle, and it goes to the right. Okay, so there's my graph for b is greater than negative 27. So you guys, what I'd like you to do is pause the video here, do these two on your own, and then press play and check it. Okay, so if I look at the first one, I first need to add 7 to both sides, and I get 6y is greater than 12. And then I need to divide away the 6. Since I'm dividing a positive 6, I don't change the sign. So my answer is y is greater than 2. Wow, that's fancy. Now I'm going to go ahead and graph that. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go ahead and graph that here. So y is greater than 2, open circle. And it goes like that. All right, let's look at the second one. Well, what I notice is I need to get d by itself, and I have two things I need to get rid of. I need to get rid of this and this. I see that the 4 is farther away from the d, so I have to start with the 4. It's a positive 4, and then it says minus 3. So what I have to actually do is subtract 4 because it's positive 4. Once I do that, don't forget about the negative before the 3d. That's attached to the 3. So I have negative 3d is less than or equal to 15. And then I need to divide away the negative 3. Now you'll notice we divided by a negative, so that flips the sign. My answer is d is greater than or equal to negative 5. And if I go ahead and graph that, that gets a closed circle, and it goes this way. All right, so go ahead and check your work, make sure it matches mine. Okay, the next example has an extra step in here. You'll notice there's some distribution that we have to do. So it says negative 7 parentheses x plus 3 is less than or equal to 28. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and distribute first. So I get negative 7x minus 21 is less than or equal to 28. let's see, I need to add 21. Oops. So I get negative 7x is less than or equal to 49. And then in order to get rid of the negative 7, I need to divide it away. Now, since I'm dividing by a negative, I have to flip the sign. So my answer is x is greater than or equal to negative 7. Okay, if I go ahead and graph that, it gets a closed circle. And coincidentally, just like the rest of our problems, it goes to the right. All right. So there's my answer, and there's my graph. Okay, last thing. You guys go ahead and try these 3. Pause the video and do them, and then when you're done, press play and check your work. Okay, so for this first one, I'm going to distribute the 2. So I get 2k minus 10 is less than 6. It says minus 10, so I'm going to do plus 10 to get rid of it. And then I need to get rid of the 2, so I'll divide it away. My answer is k is less than 8. So if I go ahead and graph that one, it gets an open circle. And finally, one that goes to the left. All right, so check your work with mine. If we look at number 4, I'm going to distribute the negative 4. Now when I distribute to here, I get negative 4n. When I distribute it to here, negative 4 times negative 10 is positive 40, is less than 32. Go ahead and subtract the 40 away, and I get negative 4n is less than negative 8. And then I need to get rid of the negative 4, so I'll divide it away. Negative 8 divided by negative 4 is 2. Now since we divided by a negative, we have to flip the sign. So my answer is n is greater than 2. All right, and if I go ahead and graph that, it gets an open circle, and it goes to the right. Okay, so let's look at this last one here. I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 0.5 on the right. So I got, oops. So I got negative 3 is less than or equal to 0.5 times 8 is 4 plus 0.5y. All right, so the same as before, you see this 4 right here. It's a positive 4, and then something's being added to it, so I have to subtract it to get rid of it. I have negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7, is less than or equal to 0.5y. I have to get rid of the 0.5, right? Because this one's a weird one because it's on the right, but still, I have to get y by itself. So if I get y by itself, I have to divide away the 0.5. And negative 7 divided by 0.5 is going to give me negative 14 is less than or equal to y. Now you have a choice. You can leave it like that, or if it's easier for you to graph it by flipping it around, you can do that. So I'm going to read it right to left. Y is greater than or equal to negative 14. These two things mean the same thing. So I'll go ahead and graph it. It gets a closed circle. It's greater than, so it's going to go this way. Okay, so either one of these is fine. All right, so if you need to go back and rewatch anything, feel free to do so, and we'll practice this in class tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.